Hello, good evening, everyone. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to EduTap and welcome to another session of Perspective 360 degree, where we do current affair based answer writing practice in a detailed and structured manner. And if you are somebody who is preparing for exams like RBI, NABARD, etc., then this session is going to be very helpful for you in order to do answer writing practice in a detailed and structured manner. Fine. So now let us begin with today's session, and you would be aware of the fact that we are doing these days, we are covering this economic survey. Fine. And as a part of the economic survey, we have covered most of the important chapters, and in the last class we talked about this chapter number 12, and we talked about the employment. And in this class we are going to talk about skill development, because it is also, I would say, an important topic, and it is interrelated to this employment part only. So we are going to understand it in that context. Fine. So I hope it is clear to you. Now there is another addition that we have added as a part of Perspective 360 degree sessions, so that we can make these sessions more interactive. So from now onwards, what is going to happen, that the best two answers will be shared in the next class. Fine. So I'm going to read all your answers. Usually the answers are evaluated by our team, but I'm also going to see all the answers, and those answers which I find, the best one, which I find the structuring is fine, and also the answers are very much original. See, originality is very important. Do not think that I've seen a lot of students who tend to copy paste the answers. Fine. What they will do, they will just open the PDF, and from there they will copy the answers, and then they will paste the points. That is something I don't appreciate. The thing is that you have to write your original version of the answer. By original I mean that you can of course use the points that have been discussed in the class, but the sentences that you are framing should be your own sentences. Fine. You have to write it in your own authentic language. That is what I mean by the originality or the authenticity. Fine. I hope it is clear to you, and this is going to be the primary criteria with respect to selecting the best answer, and this is something that we are going to do from the next class. So I highly encourage you to write the answers, to participate, so that we can learn from each other. Fine. And all the aspirants can eventually grow at the same time. I hope it is clear to you. Now if you are somebody who is new to this Perspective 360 degree initiative, I tell this in every class, that here we do current affair based answer writing. I'm going to discuss a topic, and at the end of the session I will be providing the question from the topic that you have to write in the comment box, and your answer should be written within 48 hours if you want it to get evaluated. Fine. So that is a criteria, and I hope it is clear to you. Now moving forward, let us see the expected question for today, which is discuss the challenges related to skill development in India and the interventions introduced by the government to address these challenges. So the question is very much straightforward. Firstly, it is asking about the challenges and then the government interventions, and we are going to use the economic survey in order to answer this question. No doubt that if you have information from some other source also, you can use that too. Fine. But since we are primarily discussing the economic survey only at this point of time, so the information source is going to be the economic survey. Now let us move further, and let us answer the first part of the question, which is the introduction. But as I told you that just like employment that we discussed in the previous class, this skill development is also a very general topic, very easy topic to understand. So for this topic also, the introduction is going to be your homework. Fine. Because I usually take introductions in all the sessions, but from the last 1 to 2 sessions, what I am doing, those topics that are extremely easy, that are very much general in nature, that have no technical understanding regarding that, what you have to do, you have to try to attempt that question by writing your own version of the introduction. And I'm going to read all the introductions that you are going to read in the that you are going to write in the answers, and based on that we are going to select the best two answers. Fine. I hope it is clear. Now let us move on to the next part, which is the body part, and the first point is regarding the skill mismatch. So let us see what does the economic survey talks about the skill mismatch. So basically economic survey says that there is a huge skill match, and when I say skill mismatch, basically I'm talking in context to the mismatch that is there between the qualification and the skills. And the economic survey is saying that there is a huge mismatch between that when it comes to qualification and skills. And the gravity of this situation, the gravity of this challenge, you can understand just by going through this news article. You can see over here that over 93,000 candidates, including 3,700 PhD holders, apply for peon job in UP. So I'm not saying that peon job, I'm not trying to disrespect any kind of profession, but what I want to address is that basically for a job of peon, even the PhD candidates are also applying. So don't you see that, don't you think that there is a huge mismatch between the qualification that these individuals are holding and also the skills? Because the job of the PM can be done by, I would say, a person who is 12th pass also, or the 10th pass also. That can also be a criteria. But those people who are overqualified this position, they are also participating. This is something I would say the type of skill match that is addressed at the part of the economic survey. And what does it lead to? What this type of situation lead to? This type of situation leads to the underemployment, a situation of underemployment in the country, over where individuals who are working, which represents the individuals who are working in role below their qualifications, fine, which is represented as the status of underemployment, which is highly prevalent as a part of our country, fine. And the economic survey says that this mismatch that we are witnessing, it has resulted in over 53% of graduates and 36% of postgraduates being underemployed in roles below their educational qualification. It means that this is a percentage of graduates and postgraduates that are being underemployed, and they have adopted the careers, the professions where I would say the profession for which they are overqualified, fine. And this is the mismatch that is highlighted as a part of it, and I hope it is clear to you. So you can see over here that the low educational skill in the workforce, it makes a mismatch between their academic qualifications and the job market demands. Now let us move on to the next point, which is regarding the limited vocational training. Fine. Now what do you mean by vocational training? Basically these are the learning skills that basically the data provided to the different individuals in order to get a grip over a particular task or a particular craft. For example, the task of plumbing, or the tailoring, also sort of tasks, the specific tasks are something that are categorized under the vocational education or the vocational training. Now the economic survey says that around 65.3% of the workforce received no formal vocational training. I would say this is a big problem, because the thing is that if you talk about the education, the education system in our country, we know that the rote learning is a big problem in our education system, fine. The potential of a person is measured primarily through the marks that he is getting in his academics, fine. That is a primary criteria, which is, I would say, is problematic. A less emphasis is provided or is focused with respect to the skilling, and since the skilling part is not done at the at the right point of time, and it is not done with a good value, what basically happens because of that, it creates a gap between the industries, the requirement of the industries, and the education that is provided by the educational institutes, fine. So this is the gap, and this gap keeps on getting increasing. Why is it so? Because of the flaws that are there in the education system. And in order to, I would say, reduce this gap, what could be a good option, a good opportunity that can be provided is the vocational training, fine. So but the problem is that if you talk about the economic survey data, it says that 65.3% of the workforce received no formal vocational training at all, and this limited exposure to vocational training means that a large portion is there as a part of our workforce that lacks the specialized skills, and these skills are required to meet the demands of that are there with the different jobs in the market, and this gap is problematic, fine. So this is the second challenge, which is related to the limited vocational training. The third point is regarding the educational gap. Now when we talk about educational gap, the economic survey says that a significant portion of India's workforce is engaged in low competency job. Low competency job means the low skill jobs, that are there. For example, in the construction sector or in the agriculture sector, fine, which requires low skill, with about 90.2% of the workforce having educational up to or less than the secondary level, which basically means that the vast majority of workers that are there, they have completed the school education only, Fine, this is something that is highlighted. And basically, what does it do? What does it lead to? Basically, this thing limits this huge proportion of the workforce that is, I would say, only educated up to the secondary level. Basically, this limits their ability to take the skilled or the technical jobs. Fine. And this is also, I would say, additionally created more problematic because the limited vocational training is there, and they are not able to take the opportunity with respect to skilled jobs or the technical jobs, for example the IT, the engineering, all such kind of high paying jobs that are available as a part of the market. Fine. And this is problematic. Apart from that, it says that it also leads to some sort of income disparity. Fine. Because those people who are earning more, they are earning higher income. Fine. They are, I mean, who are working in the high qualified job, who have learned some kind of specialized skills. But those people who have not been able to gain those skills, what they are doing, they are doing the manual works only, they are in the low income jobs only, and that is why there is a huge income disparity between these two groups. And the economic survey data says that 4.2% of the workforce with advanced education skills, fine, advanced education and specialized skills, they earn between rupees 4 lakhs and rupees 8 lakhs annually. Whereas the majority of the people, which is around 46%, who do not have advanced education and have not learned the specialized skills, they basically earn less than 1 lakh. Fine. And this basically includes the low and the semi-skilled workers. For example, the agriculture laborers, for example, the factory workers, the clerical staff, also sort of things. And this is nothing but this represents the economic disparity that is there between the people who have high competencies, who have high education and skills, as compared to the vice versa. Fine. The contrasting group, and I hope it is clear to you. The next point is regarding the technological transformation. This point is very much easy to understand, and this point says that because of the rise of automation, AI and digitization, there are different type of changes as far as the demand in the market is concerned with respect to different jobs. And India's current skill development programs, they need to adopt these technologies so that they can prepare the workers for the future roles. Fine. So what do we need? We need upskilling and apart from that, the new skilling also, so that we can meet the demands of the emerging markets. The next point is regarding the geographic and the gender disparities, and this point is also very easy to understand. Economic survey says that 65% of the India's population resides in rural areas, and this population faces huge challenges related to the limited mobility, the market access and the energy reliability. Fine. And this is just a problem with respect to geography. Fine. Since they live in the rural areas. Fine. Apart from that, there are gender based problem also. Fine. For example, that women are expected to play the traditional roles only. Fine. They are not being allowed. They are not being allowed, especially in the rural areas, to take the opportunities in different type of sectors, or I should say the non-agriculture sectors, because yesterday only, or in the last class only, we have seen that a large number of women are employed in the agriculture sector only. And we have also discussed the reasons. And because of such type of challenges, there are gender based disparities also as far as the skill development is concerned. Fine. I hope it is clear to you. Now let us move on to the next body part, which is regarding the government interventions, and all these points I have taken from the economic survey only. Now what I have done, I have written, since a lot of information is written in the economic survey, there is a lot of data also. Fine. Now if you are interested to know the more information, if you are interested to know more data regarding it, different facts regarding it, what I would suggest you should go to the economic survey chapter number 12. Just go to the economic survey website, download the chapter number 12, and over here you will see this table 12.5. Fine. The table 12.5 or the chart 12.5 is going to be there, and just go through that chart if you want to have some additional value added data. Fine. So over here I have just mentioned the keywords, the important keywords and the initiatives that are there with respect to the skill development. So the first type of initiative that has been taken by the government is regarding the skill development programs. So the government has launched different set of programs. For example, you must have heard about the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Fine. We know that this Kaushal Vikas Yojana, it provides industrial relevant training, and apart from that, with respect to this training, it provides the certification also. So we are going to see all these initiatives in a, we are going to have overview regarding a good overview regarding that, so that you have some kind of minimum clarity regarding all these points. So the industry relevant training and the certification is something that is provided as a part of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Then we have this another scheme called Craftsman Training Scheme also, and let me tell you that it is one of the oldest running skill initiatives in our country. It was launched in the year 1950. Fine, it was launched in the year 1950 and one of the oldest skill development initiatives that is running in our country. And what does it basically do? It basically provides a formal training to school living students. Fine, the school living students. And what type of opportunities does it provide? Basically, it provides the vocational skills to them. Vocational skills, for example, the skills regarding plumbing. Fine, or let us say if there is some electrician work, these type of skills are provided as a part of this craftsman training scheme. Apart from that, we have this Jan Shikshan Sansthan also, JSS, and this also provides the vocational training only, but the I would say the primary target of this initiative is to target the underprivileged section of the society, and also the non-literate people. Very specifically, the non-literate people. These can include people, those type of individuals, who have been dropped from the school. Find the school dropped students and school dropout students, and apart from that, it can also include, I would say, the unemployed adults. Fine, for example, let us say if there is a woman who comes from the underprivileged section of the society, and let us say she wants to learn some new skill so that she can have some source of income. So for that, let us say she wants to go for some kind of vocational program where she wants to learn, let us say, tailoring. So what she can do to learn the tailoring, she can apply for the Jan Shikshan Sansthan, and over there she can be guided with respect to that. Fine, so it basically targets the school dropouts and the unemployed adults. Apart from that, we have another scheme which is Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma. This is very popular scheme. You must be aware about it, that it basically performs or it basically targets the skilling related to the artisans. Fine, the traditional artisans that are there, and it is very popular scheme, and it has trained million of individuals, and people from different various type of backgrounds can apply for these programs, can apply for these initiatives in order to go for the skill development. I hope it is clear. After that, we have the vocational training as a digital ecosystem. I told you that the vocational training, vocational education is very important. So for that, we have, the government has taken different type of steps. So, and one of the important steps regarding the digital ecosystem training is the Skill India Digital Hub. Now, what is this platform? As the name suggests, this platform basically promotes the digital training. Fine, digital training among the individuals. We know that in the at this point of time in 2025, we are witnessing so much of digitization. So digital training becomes a huge necessity if you want to go for any kind of job, and if you want to go, if you want to apply for diverse type of roles. So the digital training is very important. So basically, this Skill India Digital Hub, basically what it does, it provides digital literacy programs. Apart from that, it provides different kind of courses also. The professional courses, for example, related to cyber security. Fine, this can be provided. Apart from that, there can be courses related to the data management. Fine, they can be there also a part of it. So these type of Skill India, these are the type of opportunities that are offered by Skill India Digital Hub. Fine, so I hope it is clear to you. The next point is regarding the women empowerment in skilling. So over here, we have already discussed the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, and you can see the extent to which the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana has been successful as far as the women entrepreneurs are concerned. Fine, so what we have seen, sorry, not the women entrepreneurs, but the women skill development is concerned. So what we can see, the data as mentioned in the economic survey, that the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana sees 58% female participation. So you can see this participation is a very healthy sign. It is a very good sign, and especially in a kind of country, as we discussed in the last class, where the labor force participation rate with respect to women is not very much high. Fine, we need to work a lot with respect to that, but despite these challenges, we are still witnessing a large participation from the side of the women as far as this Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is concerned. Then there is also an initiative by the government, which is National Apprenticeship promotional scheme. And what does this scheme aim to do? Basically, it provides on-job training. Fine, this apprenticeship program provides on-job training for the candidates. And what does it do? Basically, it allows them to get the practical experience with respect to the industries. This is the job of this National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. Fine. And the economic survey data says that the female participation has risen from 7.7% in 2016 to 17 to 22.8% in 2024 to 25. This is a huge change, I would say. And ये याद नहीं हो रहा है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. अगर इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स डेटा नहीं याद हो रहा है 22.8%, मुझे पता है आपके पास ऑलरेडी बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन है याद रखने के लिए, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा तो नहीं है, बट इट कैन ऐड वैल्यू टू योर आंसर. फाइन, वेर एवर पॉसिबल यू कैन यूज इट इन योर एम्प्लॉयमेंट बेस्ड आंसर ऑल्सो. सो एम्प्लॉयमेंट, दिस कैन बी हेल्पफुल in the answers of inclusive growth also. It can be there in the answers of women empowerment also. Fine. There also you can write that how female participation has been increased with respect to vocational training because of the different steps that have been taken by the government. So if you want, you can choose to add it as a part of your notes. Otherwise, I would say it is not compulsory. Fine, it's all up to you. The next point is regarding the financial support and entrepreneurship, and over here we have the initiatives like Mudra Yojana. So you must be knowing about the Mudra Yojana that basically provide financial supports. It provide the financial support to micro entrepreneurs. Fine, to the micro entrepreneurs. And what does it aim to do? Basically, those micro entrepreneurs who do not have access to the traditional banking system, for them this Mudra Yojana is very helpful. Fine. And it offers three type of, I would say, subcategories. It includes three type of subcategories. The first one is Shishu, and then we have Kishore, and then is Tarun. Shishu is basically for the new businessmen, and the Kishore is for the expanding businesses. Fine, it is for the expanding businesses, and for those businesses who are looking to grow further, for them we have the Tarun. Fine, and you can read the details on your own for all these Shishu, Kishore and Tarun. They have different kind of benefits, or the the limit of financial incentives that they provide as a part of the Mudra Yojana. The next is the Startup India. Now we have two type of schemes. The first is the Startup India and the second is the Stand Up India. What is the difference between them? Basically, when we talk about the Startup India, it targets the new startups that are there in the different type of sectors. Fine, in different type of sectors. So the main purpose, I would say, with respect to the Startup India is to promote the innovation. Innovation is the main primary objective of this Startup India. But when we talk about the Stand Up India, fine. When we talk about Stand Up India, the target group of Stand Up India is primarily the women, or it can be the SCs, STs also. Fine, which basically belong to the vulnerable sections of the society. And I would say Stand Up India also promote entrepreneurship. It also promotes innovation. But the thing is that the primary focus of the Stand Up India is also to promote the financial inclusion as well as the empowerment. Fine, empowerment with respect to what? These individuals, the women, the SCs, the STs, so that they can also get benefited. Fine, as a part of this financial support. So that is the objective. The objective of the Startup India is the innovation, the primary objective, whereas regarding Startup India, it is the financial inclusion and the empowerment. Fine, the empowerment with respect to different type of groups. So Startup India provide different kind of key features. For example, it provides the provisions related to tax exemptions. It also provides different kind of funding opportunities, and apart from that, it also provides the features with respect to the simplified registration of the different type of industries. Fine, that want to get established, very specifically the micro industries. Fine. Apart from that, if you talk about Stand Up India basically it aims to promote financial inclusion, and it helps these individuals, these entities to set up their greenfield enterprises. Fine. I hope you do know the difference between the brownfield and greenfield enterprises. So this is primarily with respect to the greenfield enterprises. Fine, as a part of it, and this is how the financial support and the entrepreneurship is provided through these type of initiatives. Then the next point is regarding the PM internship scheme, and this scheme is very much straightforward. It provides the paid internship across the different type of sectors. What are the name of those sectors? You don't have to remember that, as far as especially the descriptive paper is concerned. Then I would say the economic survey says that 1.25 lakh individuals are targeted in the pilot phase. Fine, and with the stipends of rupees 5,000 per month for the participants. Fine, and it is going to help in the increasing the employability of these individuals. The last point is regarding the international mobility of skilled workers. Now we know that at the as far as the skill development is concerned, skill development with respect to India should somewhere align with the global standards also. Fine, that is also very important, so that the workers that are there in our country, they can meet the demands of the international industries also, the global industries also, so that it will increase their participation. And in order to do that, what the government is doing, government is basically signing different sort of agreements with various countries like Germany, Japan, Australia. This information is mentioned in the economic survey. Apart from that, the government is also establishing Skill India International Centers. Now what happens in these centers? Basically in these centers, the Indian workers, they are provided the training. Fine. And training with respect to which level? Primarily keeping in mind the international standards. And this is something what is done as a part of this Skill India International Center. So basically we are aligning our domestic skills, or I should say the skills of the Indian workers, with the global skills standards, and that is the primary idea regarding this Skill India International Standards. I hope it is clear. Now let us see the conclusion. Now how we are going to write the conclusion. If you remember the last class of employment, regarding the economic survey only, so here we had discussed this conclusion. Now since the employment topic is very much linked to the skill topic only, so what I have done, I have used the same type of template. I have just modified it a bit so that I can fit the same type of template, the similar type of approach or keywords for the skill based conclusion also. Fine. So this is just for your reference, so that you get a clarity, so that you can also prepare such type of templates for your notes also. Fine. So that your notes get more refined, and your input get reduced and the output get increased. It will add more I would say quality to your answers. Fine. And is also going to save your efforts and time. So you can see over here, yesterday we had discussed India has seen a good growth in employment with a growth in entrepreneurship, formalization and skill development and transformation of the regulatory framework. This was our thesis that we have used, keeping in mind the question. Now if you talk about today's question related to skill development, now the idea is same in the first line also, but only what I have done, I have added some kind of modification so that same idea gets fit for the skill development. Fine. So India has made significant stride. So here we were talking about growth. You can talk about stride, or you can write growth over here also in skill development, driven by initiatives like Skill India and प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना. तो दो initiatives के हमने यहाँ नाम लिख दिए, और इनसे क्या होगा? They have helped in equipping the individuals, especially women, with essential skills for employment and entrepreneurship. Same kind of idea we had discussed in that conclusion also. Now over here what we had discussed, that we need to simplify the compliance, fostering labor flexibility, promoting worker welfare and labor reforms. What they have done, they have basically created an enabling environment that balances ease of doing business with protection for workers' right. And what we have written over here, that these efforts that we have discussed above, along with labor reforms, have created an environment that promotes with both job creation and skill enhancement, fostering sustainable economic growth and inclusive development. The last point was regarding this virtuous cycle of job creation that has been fostered, supporting sustainable employment growth and economic inclusivity. So over here also we have written the similar point, that the focus on skilling supports a virtuous cycle of productivity and workforce development. Fine. Now the thing is that you can use similar type of approach. The message that I want to give you is that basically I want you to create ready-made conclusion for similar type of topics. Fine. Those topics that are very much similar in nature, for example the employment, fine, this inclusive growth, the poverty, the inequality. So try to have some common type of keywords so that it becomes easy for you to remember. अब ऐसा मत करना कि आपके पास बिल्कुल ही एक limited keywords ही है. For example अगर एग्जाम में employment का भी एक क्वेश्चन आ गया and inclusive growth का भी क्वेश्चन आ गया और आप सेम टाइप का कंक्लूजन लिख के आ रहे हो, that is not the idea. But I want you to have a good list of keywords so that in case you get mental block in the examination, you have some backup plan. Fine, to write a quality answers within minimum amount of time, and this is how you can do it. I hope this example was helpful for you. Now next point, some important data from the economic survey. So I told you in the last class also that this chapter is talking about the demographic dividend also. Now demographic dividend is a very basic topic, and if you go to the Perspective 360 playlist, then earlier also I have discussed that topic. But now in the economic survey they have mentioned some updated data, so you can go through that data, you can add it to your notes in your population chapter or the demographic trends chapter as a part of your social issues. Fine. So over here you can see that around 26% of the population is in the age group of 20 to 25 years, leading to decline in dependency ratio. Now another data is written regarding the dependency ratio that has declined from 64.6% to 55.7%. So this is the data and you can add it to your notes. It is going to add value to your answers. Apart from that, there is another data regarding annual survey of industries. Fine, and over here you can see that the manufacturing sector has shown more than 7% increase in the employment. So this was supposed to be discussed in the last class, but I had not discussed this. So over here I'm discussing it, and again you can add it to your notes. Fine, a very significant data. And large factories employ around 80% of the total workforce. So this is the data as far as the economic survey is concerned. Now in the last class I had given you this data when we were talking about the participation of the women in the first part of the body. Now in the second point I had given you data regarding the women's participation in self-employment. So by mistake I gave you the wrong data, and this is just a small correction. Please the number, you just have to update the numbers in your notes. So I've written some different numbers in that class, so that I mean the numbers are 53.6% to 67.4%. Fine. So by mistake I had written the wrong numbers. So here is the correction, and please make this correction if you have added that point as a part of your notes, and I hope it is clear to you. So now we are done with the session, and this is the answer blueprint that I would like you to follow. First of all, the introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. The introduction should be around 10 to 12% of the total word limit, and the same rule is for the conclusion also. Rest of the word limit shall be dedicated to the body part, where you are going to write your body in the form of heading and the subheadings. Fine, and the subheadings have to be highlighted using some relevant data, facts, or examples. Fine, try to do that. And that is it from my end, and this is the final question that you have to write in the comment section. And as I told you in the initial part also, that the best two answers will be shared in the next video. Fine, so that the learning experience becomes more enhanced and the class becomes more interactive. So do write your answers. I'm going to read all the answers, and the best two answers are going to be shared in the next class. Fine, and you have 48 hours to do so. Within 48 hours you have to write your answers. Fine, if you want it to get evaluated. So thank you so much and all the best, and that is it from my side. And this is the EduTap blog. Over here you can find different informative articles related to RBI, NABARD, fine, SEBI, and for the various banking exams also. So you can go through these blogs. They are going to help you in your preparation. So that is it, and thank you so much and all the best. So let me see the chat box if there is something. Shrutika is asking, can you send notes PDF just after the class? I do not upload those PDFs. Those PDFs are, it's a kind of process. It involves a process. Firstly, I have to upload the PDF, then the support team uploads it, and things take time. Fine. So what we do basically, by the morning, that is on the next day, we upload this PDF on the Telegram channel. So I will talk to support team if it is possible, but as far as the present scenario is concerned, we usually share it on the next day only. Fine, in the morning. Fine, so no more questions are there in the chat box. Okay, welcome Swapnil. So now I'm ending the session.